topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Welcome to my radio and TV show, Debi Changes Lives. I'm Debi, your certified holistic health coach. I revitalize people's lives by helping them identify the root causes of their health and mindset issues and create a custom natural holistic strategy to address them in the areas of mind, body, and soul. As a health coach, I'm not allowed to say that I heal, treat, cure, prevent, or diagnose any diseases. I can certainly make your body more efficient by reducing symptoms. You'll feel better, be more productive, and enjoy life more. Not many people have released 70 pounds, had a health and mindset transformation, and kept fit and trim for over a decade. I have, and I have staying power. And it's been over 11 years. I even became a half marathon runner at the age of 51 when I never ran from childhood to adulthood due to foot pain. And I've done 8 half marathons so far. Mindset is the key to lasting change. As a certified holistic health coach, I do revitalize people's lives in many areas of health and mindset. I guide them to clean, toxic-free foods and high-quality essential nutrients. My coaching is for optimizing health, efficiently releasing weight, and enhancing your mindset. With my clients, I help them recognize that their thoughts, feelings, and emotions drive their actions and results. Sometimes good and sometimes bad. That's why it's crucial to have a positive mindset in life to succeed. And it's also imperative to manage those low vibrational emotions like fear, frustration, and doubt, because all they're going to do is slow you down and get you stuck physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Like a hot air balloon with ballasts, I help my clients release those emotional ballasts and baggage so they can uplift to a happier, healthier, and more fulfilling life. And in turn, they are releasing their stress, becoming healthier, and reshaping their core beliefs. They will feel the differences with my coaching programs. Ask me about my programs. Set up a complimentary consultation at Debi Changes Lives. That's DebiChangesLives, as in Victory, ES.com/Linktree, LINKTREE. And I'll guide you to that better, happier, healthier life with custom natural solutions unique for you in the areas of mind, body, and soul. Now, creativity, not yet, but soon. Creativity gives us a spark in life. And today I have April Lynn James, an award-winning soprano with a PhD in music. She is affectionately known as a PhDiva and a best-selling author of a #1 best-selling book, which is called The Tenth Muse. How, you can put this slide back up, how Maria Antonia advanced the Pastoral opera. And it actually made #1 in both categories of biographies of classical composer and historical biographies in Germany, as well, and in the month of August to September of 2023. It's also the winner of the Gulf Coast Writers Association for Nonfiction Award in 2024. You can purchase her book at Amazon. Now, following a decade of family drama at post PhD, April credits her unplanned viewing of Tim Burton's Alice of Wonderland with sparking creativity and spiritual awakening. Since then, she has sung and recorded as a chorister, and soloist in Europe and the United States. She's a native New Yorker who's now living in Myers, Florida. Her favorite songs are Christmas carols, and she has a play shop juggling stress for relief, and which connects performing arts with wellness. Today we'll be discussing creativity and wellness. So let's welcome April Lynn James, an award-winning soprano with a PhD in music, known as the PhDiva, and a best-selling author. April, welcome to my show.
Well, thank you, Debbie, for having me on your show, and greetings to everyone out there watching.
Oh, I'm really happy you can make it, so thank you for being my guest. Let's start off with, have you always wanted to be a professional singer?
You know, I've sung, I like to tell people that I've been singing for as long as I've been on the planet, because I can't remember a time when I wasn't singing. And I used to, I remember my parents had a swing set they built for me in our backyard, and I would sit and sing and swing at the same time, whatever song had caught my ear, from popular songs, like the Carpenters song, the song that was made popular by the Carpenters, Sing. That's like the earliest song that I recall singing, to,
Cool.
Anything that I'd heard in church, because I was allowed to be in the church choir. But I didn't really know that music could be a career. It's not like I thought when I was 5 or 7 or something, oh yeah, I want to be a professional singer. It was more like this gradually dawning awareness over the course of my life that music is what I care most about. And I sing, so I'd better do that somehow professionally.
Yeah, it's really cool. Music is just, like they say, it soothes the savage beast. It's a great way to, when you sing, you're putting out joy out there. You're bringing up your vibrational levels, and music has a lot of different vibrations in it.
Mhm.
And I have a son that plays the clarinet, so and he plays it so beautifully. And it really, calms him down, makes him feel better. So he could do other things because he's also studying aerospace engineering. So he's this dual type of guy. But the whole point is that, music really brings in a lot of frequencies. You can lower, if you're in a bad mood, you can listen to something really uplifting, and it'll make you feel so much better.
Yes. Yeah, it's so important, to tune into the joy that is really natural in our being, but our society doesn't really acknowledge it. And music, good music that calms us and connects us to the divine, which is the source of all joy, the source of all good. And we really need to make it a part of our lives daily, if not hourly, or it's really that important.
Yeah, and I make it daily because I use it. I use certain audios to help me fall asleep. I
Mhm.
use certain audios to just get me going in the morning because I run.
Mhm.
So I use it daily.
Yes.
So I really enjoy it,
Yeah,
and that's part of wellness.
that's right.
And creativity is part of wellness as well. I mean,
Exactly.
when you are inspired to do something, you are also uplifting your vibration too by
Mhm.
creating things. So,
That's right.
and speaking about creating, you're a published author of a #1 best-selling book. How did you choose that subject of your best-selling book?
Well, I chose Maria Antonia, or rather, maybe she chose me. But when I was going into my doctoral program, I went in with the desire to research music by women, and specifically vocal music, because, okay, I'm a singer. So I wanted to research something I could later perform. And it was my dissertation advisor who, it was a class before he was my dissertation advisor, Christoph Wolff, a well-known Bach scholar. I took a class with him, and he had pulled out from the library shelves a bunch of different scores for the different students in the class, and we were to choose one. Each of us were to choose one to work on that semester. And I was at the point of looking for a dissertation topic. And so my eyes honed in on, it turned out to be 2 acts from a 3-act opera, the title of which was Il Trionfo della Fedeltà, the Triumph of Fidelity. And the name on the spine was Maria Antonia. And I was like, oh, there's a woman. Oh, look, it's an opera. And so I asked him, is anyone researching her? He said, no. I said, I am now. That's how I came to her. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes when you pull a card out of the deck, that's what happens. And that's what you did with, with that, getting that score.
Yeah.
And choosing what you needed to do. And you found out she was female. So what exactly did you find out about her? I'm kind of curious.
Well, I found out that Maria Antonia, Maria Antonia, Electress of Saxony, she was born princess in Bavaria and then married into the Saxon royal family. And I discovered that she was a powerhouse in the middle 18th century, really well known and well respected as a composer. So she wrote music, as a poet. So she wrote her own poetry. As a singer, she sang in her own operas and other operas that were performed in court, and as a patron of the arts. She wanted to turn Saxony into the fine arts capital of Europe in the mid-18th century. And she made sure that her creativity could serve as a form of patronage, as a way of honoring others. So honoring her parents-in-law, right? The king and the queen, the king and queen of Sax. It gets complicated politically. So anyway, her parents, the king and queen, and her spouse, Prince Friedrich Christian. And she also made sure that her poetry, her creativity could serve as a form of patronage for example, the publishing company, music publishers in Leipzig, Breitkopf. This company still exists. It's called Breitkopf and Hertel now, but back then it was Breitkopf. And her opera, the Il Trionfo della Fedeltà, was the first opera published by Breitkopf first work actually published by Breitkopf in a new type that they developed that was specifically for printing music.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so, she basically bankrolled the development of that new printing technology. She helped out with that. And so I just discovered that there was this really incredibly creative woman, a powerhouse politically, behind the scenes often, but no one knew about her in the 20th or 21st century. So, it became part of my job to get her into the 21st century so people know more about her and are interested in her music.
Yeah, that's really, she really was a leader, I know she probably married into this family, but she's a leader because she was a princess and she was a leader, but she, the technology she brought into her society and people around her, as well as that she was spiritually lifting people with music and sound.
Yes.
That's all very inspiring. Pretty good choice.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Now, did you know anything about Alice in Wonderland? I know I have, before you saw Tim Burton's film.
I had no clue really about Alice in Wonderland before I saw that film. The only work of Lewis Carroll's that I knew before seeing that film had been the poem Jabberwocky, because as an undergraduate at Queens College in New York City, that had been my favorite poem in my Victorian literature class. Like I took a Victorian literature class and had to pick something. And Jabberwocky, I loved it because I love that kind of wordplay. I've always loved languages and, the wordplay, the kind of humor that was in that poem. But prior to 2010, I really knew nothing else about Lewis Carroll or the Alice books.
Wow.
Yeah, and that film
changed a lot more than Alice.
Yes. Yeah.
And some of the stuff, does continue spirituality in it. So, he is, quite an author. And some of the stuff can be complicated to read too. Some people got to really pay attention to what they're reading. So, but I really enjoyed Lewis Carroll and others, and poetry as well. But it's interesting that, you didn't have that background with Alice in Wonderland. And you know what? It happens. You do now.
I do now. That film woke me up.
I know. But Tim Burton is an interesting, filmmaker. I got to tell you that much. He's kind of on the raw side sometimes and different. So what did you get out of the film?
Well, what I got out of the film, in part, is that I discovered through Alice, and seeing that film showed me a role model that I'd been looking for my entire life in the Alice that was portrayed in that film, Alice Kingsley. Because I had grown up, going, gosh, I loved Errol Flynn and the Adventures of Robin Hood. I was into Joan of Arc, and I was going, well, where's a girl who can don armor and wield a sword, and rescue the people? And I never saw that growing up. It took until 2010, and I'm like, wait, there she is. That's
Alice in Wonderland. That's amazing.
That's what I've been looking for. And so it was that, but I also, because of that film, met my guardian angel, or had my guardian angel really come much more fully into my life than I had experienced it before. Yeah.
So, but you've at least in the next question, have you always been aware of angels in your life? I mean, you became more aware after that film because it kind of it uplifted your soul, kind of reopened your soul, it was a reawakening of your life. Because I know family drama is pretty much a hate to use this term, Debbie Downer. But my whole point is it does kind of put a lot of weight on you and weighs down your soul.
Yes.
So obviously this film kind of just broke you free.
Yeah, in a way, yes, because see, at the time it came along, I was going through what I've come to call the decade of awfulness.
Yeah.
After Harvard, I went back to New York City, moved back in with my mother, wanted to forge this operatic career. I had a whole bunch of music composed by women, operas composed by women, turned it into an opera company. But then I was shepherding my mother through crisis after crisis over the years, and not having quite the career success I wanted was weighing me down by 2010. But I had started to call on, I'd always spoken to God. I've always spoken to God throughout my life. But I learned in that decade also about how one could contact one's guardian angel. And, so I had done that in 2009. I had asked for a sign. And the sign I had asked for was a snowflake. And then, because it was summer of 2009, so I asked for a snowflake. And then what happened is a few weeks later, I got the fall catalog for Land's End, and I turned it over, and there on the cover was a red sweater with a white snowflake on it. And that immediately lifted my mood, and that kind of thing continued to happen. If something bad happened, a snowflake would come along and I would cheer up. Well, then I'm in this film in 2010, and what happened during the film, I won't get into it because it's a nice story that we don't really have time for, but my guardian angel piped up inside my head in this British accented voice. And I was like, what's going on? The voice said, that's me. And I was like, what? But I didn't get a real reply. Then a year after that, I was looking for stills from that film, Alice in Wonderland, to download and use as wallpaper on my Mac. That voice piped up in my head again. Short story version is that it dictated a sonnet to me, and the name Madison Hatta Sonneteer came out of my pen right after the sonnet. And I realized, oh my goodness, that's the guardian angel of my sense of humor. It just because it made me laugh, and it's continued to make me laugh. I mean, Madison and I have well over 200 sonnets that mix biography, so my biography, with wonderlandish imagery, whimsical wordplay, and they just make me laugh. And they were making me laugh about some really trying situations in my life. Yeah.
Wow. Now, is Madison your guardian angel?
Yes. Yeah, we all have multiple angels who are helping us, and I consider Madison the guardian angel of my sense of humor.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued when people can connect with their guardian angels, and yours actually has a name. A lot of people, they talk about, Mother Mary, they talk about, Mary Magdalene, or, Archangel Angel Michael or Raphael and things like that. But Madison, that's intriguing.
Yeah, it's quite intriguing. It's really funny. I told one person about it early on, and the person said, she asked me, "Is that name a pun?" And I'm like, "Well, it might be. Mad as in Hatta. Okay, could be." These are it's just.
Well, you can also break it up this way: mad and son. It could be a guy for all you know.
Well, no, but when I first saw the name Madison Hatta, I thought, well, Madison as in James Madison.
Yeah, James Madison, like the president.
Or Madison Avenue, right? But and then Hatta is right from the Alice books. It's right. It's from the second book. It's from.
Yeah, I didn't mean to anything negative. I want to let you know that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like I have a son, that has a name with son in it. So that's my whole point. So. But it's interesting that it's a wild story, but that's okay. I really love it. So, do you have any other angels, or just Madison?
That's the only one that I know of specifically that introduced itself by name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm sure you have other people that have, other angels, and that might mean people.
Oh yes. Well, I'm sure. Because Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, yes, I'm aware of their activity in my life as well. I mean, Gabriel is especially around creatives, people who are engaged in writing or music or art, and yeah. I mean, I grew up at the church I was baptized in. It was St. Gabriel, so I know Gabriel's around me, but Archangel Michael has made his presence felt as well over the course of my life. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I'm so happy for you. Okay, so that's cool. Now, are your play shops meant for adults? And what do you expect for participating in them?
Yes, the play shops. So you're talking about how creativity is important for wellness, and that's a firm belief of mine, because while I was at Harvard doing my doctorate, I developed 3 stress-related conditions. 3 stress-related conditions because of just like working all the time, sitting in front of the computer, typing all the time. I developed tendonitis in my right arm.
Okay.
I was gaining weight because I was sitting in front of the computer all the time, not exercising, and I was starting to get depressed. And so this was the end of my first year. I knew I had to change something. I had to do something different. So I went down the street. There's a conservatory called the Laungy School of Music down the street from Harvard Yard. I went there and I signed up for Baroque dance classes because I'm studying 18th century music. Why not learn the dances that go along with the music? So I did that. I found a mime teacher. At that time, there was a Bulgarian woman who taught mime in Cambridge. So I took classes with her, and I got back into juggling because I had taught myself to juggle years previous, but now I got back into doing it and doing that regularly. So those 3 things, along with yoga and other modalities like Alexander technique and Feldenkrais, really got me back into my body, out of my head, into my body. And by my second year up there, the end of my second year, the excess weight had gone away, the depression was gone, and the tendinitis was gone. So I like to teach people juggling. I call it juggling for stress relief because I know that it helps. It helped me, especially with your hands when you're typing all the time. Juggling is a different movement. It's a contrary movement. You could say, we hold our hands like this when we type, or you're holding them like this when you're juggling. And you're doing something that we don't ordinarily do, throwing a ball or other object to yourself. And you're going to drop. The process of learning is that you're going to fail along the way. So juggling is a way for people to safely fail, to get comfortable with the fact that, yes, failure happens, but you recover from it, and eventually you learn to juggle. And by the end of an hour, it's really an hour-long play shop, I like to call it. Most people, no, I'll say everyone gets the basics of being able to juggle 3 objects. And some people, get more than the basics out of it. It's amazing, and the joy in the room that comes from a bunch of adults or teens. I've had some, teens in the class too, and the level of joy and just like the permission to play.
Yes.
It's amazing how the energy is just so uplifting in that room. And so I love doing these play shops.
Yeah, we need to touch our inner child a lot more. But I want to let you know that when you juggle, like if you throw something back and forth between your hands, like that, what you're doing is you're crossing your brain axis, and you're beginning to release any ideas that you might be concentrating on. And that's like a relief. It's like uplifting. It's kind of like a vibrational thing in a way, but it's not, because it's releasing the problems that you have.
Right.
So it's bringing up vibration of joy, and it's making you a happier person. And so I guess if you start singing when you're juggling back and forth, that can be even more cheerful. And as you notice, I just light up like a
yeah, exactly.
And but that's something I learned from one of my guests, of all things. She was a hypnotist, and but I just she has a wonderful book that people can purchase. But my whole point is like when I run and I need to break through something because something's happening in my life, I kind of juggle my water bottle. And my water bottle, I may drop it. So what? But all of a sudden a creative flow comes in. Running, walking, whatever you do outside, whatever you do, moving your body, whatever you do will help your metabolism, will help you circulate lymph, will help it make you more creative and inspiring.
Yes.
And so I love running because I've never, if you heard from my beginning, I never ran until I was 51.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you've done these half marathons. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like someone told me I can never run. A doctor told me you're never going to be able to run. And so I accepted it. And like you, I gained weight over time. I got depressed over time because, life can't do that with heavy burdens going on in your life. And it was during a time when I was taking care of my mom, just to let you know. So my whole point was I wasn't paying attention to ourselves. We need to pay attention to ourselves. And I'm so happy you did. I'm so happy that Tim Burton movie kind of awakened you to be more creative, more inspiring. And other things came into your life that made things a lot more fun.
That's right.
And that's pretty much what happened to me. The running and changing my lifestyle, has made people look at me and they go, "You're really inspiring." Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And they say, I glow at times. So my whole point is like everyone can glow. It's a matter of having joy in your life. It's
Yeah.
about enjoying your life.
That's exactly right. Yeah, because see, when I was a kid, when I was in college, well, when I was at Queens College the first time, so my first BA, I had asked my mother, in what when it came time to choose majors, what should I do? And I knew I was good at music. I knew I excelled at music and at languages. And she told me, well, music is a hobby, not a career. And that stalled me from pursuing music. I went and got a communications BA for my first BA. But after working unhappily in TV and then publishing for a couple of years, I said, forget it. I got laid off in my last TV job. I said, that's it. I'm going back to school to study music. And that's what got me into Harvard, is because I got straight A's for the first time in my life when I went back and focused on what I loved doing.
Mm-hmm.
Those straight A's led to scholarships and fellowships, got me into Harvard. And then, my life, though, I feel like my life has been a constant, like, I need to check in all the time. Am I doing what I love? If I'm not, I got to get back on track, and keep going in the direction of the joy. And yeah, at that point when the Tim Burton film came into my life, I had definitely gotten off the path of joy, and I needed to get a quick, really, it was like a quick jump start. In the space of 2 hours, I was reawakened. Stuff has started happening in my life again. I started creating again. I started believing in dreams again. And that energy eventually got me out of that horrible situation. I moved out of New York, moved to Philadelphia for 9 years. And now that I moved to Fort Myers, I moved to Fort Myers in 2022. It's even more like now that yes, I am focusing on the music and on the creativity, because that's what God put me here to do, to help inspire people the way Maria Antonia inspired me, right? The way researching this inspiring woman and other inspiring women composers, the way they inspired me. They believed in themselves, and I can believe in myself. The way Alice Kingsley in that film, she could do it. Okay, she could do the impossible. I can do the impossible. So.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. My father said the exact same thing. Art's never going to get you anywhere. I was very good at creative arts and graphics and things like that. And then I taught myself computers. And I got very good at computer graphics. And I really wanted to be a film director, but I came during a time where it was really hard for Penny Marshall and other people to become directors. So I ended up doing, working for Disney and other companies and things like that. But I didn't like what I was doing. I was an administrative support, and I didn't like that. So I just left, started my own video company. Mm-hmm. And I worked and testing equipment. I worked at NAB, showing people graphic systems and video equipment and video editing. And I got tired of traveling. And that's when I had my son. But my whole point was, you got to do what you like. And while I had my son, and it was the same time I was taking care of my mom, so that was kind of a sandwich generation aspect of my life. I kept creative. I made photo storybooks for people. And lo and behold, I became a certified holistic health coach. And I'm like, oh, reels, all this and that. I can do that. And so I create my own reels, and I really enjoy it. And I just, enjoy all that, creativity of that aspect of my business. And it's a way of, passing a little message of, good advice and things like that for people. Yeah. I also value having an engineer for my show too, because I've been there. I've been in the TV station. I've seen people, crash on air, so to speak. I've seen people lose money because a commercial didn't go up and things like that. So, but I also was there going, when someone like all of a sudden melted down, I'm like, I would direct them, do this, and I saved the day. So my whole point, because they were training and they had to do things live sometimes. So that's my whole point, is that, life can take many turns and twists and turns, and you'll find something you really, really love. And, with life comes wisdom. And that's all I'm doing now is sharing my wisdom. And that's why I'm doing my podcast. I was a person that was behind the scenes. I didn't like being in front of the camera. And it took me a while to get comfortable in front of the camera. But I am getting a lot better. And I started with this podcast. Podcast has really helped me a lot with that.
Yes, it will. It teaches you everything you need to know about being comfortable on camera doing this. Yeah.
Yeah, and when little things happen, I kind of laugh it off.
Right. Absolutely.
And you know what? When you laugh it off, that just brings up your mood. I mean,
that's exactly it.
With wisdom, little things don't matter. I mean, you know, I'm not losing a broadcaster, you know, a commercial, whatever. I'm not losing any of that stuff. I've been there, done that. I don't need to do it. So, but I really enjoyed doing corporate video and all that in my life. It just became hard when I had my child. So, and taking care of my mom. It was way too much. I was being stretched thin, which I'm sure you felt that way too, right?
I understand that. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, and we need to pay attention to ourselves. As women, we tend to be people pleasers and we lose ourselves a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That we lose ourselves.
Absolutely true.
Yeah. So that's why you need to really find what you want and find out what you're good at. Or, you know, you need to hire someone to help you, coach you to find out what you may be good at, you know, do a personnel profile and things like that. You are so blessed to have an angel come into your life, your guardian angel, that really gave you an eye-opening experience with that download of that you have.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel blessed. Yeah, I feel blessed. But, you know, this is something that everyone can do, is, you know, to ask the guardian angels to sort of give them a sign. So you just have to ask for a specific sign and then sort of pay attention when it happens.
Yes. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. Animals come to me automatically when I run. They want to play fetch with me, a dog or something like that, or a cat will come up and say hi, and I say hi. And I've been noticing butterflies are flying around me a lot. And I'm like, you know, people just need to notice things are happening. I've had peregrine falcons appear 3 times in a run.
Nice.
And so sometimes, you know, it could be a spiritual animal.
Yeah.
And just look it up and see what they're all about. Because they
exactly.
can inspire you to, hey, I'm on the right track for, you know, being a leader. I'm on the right track of, you know, flying, you know, creating things that are going to help people and things like that. Or, you know, I help people with transformations. I don't know, maybe that's why I have butterflies flying around me. I don't know.
Possibly, yeah.
But that's my whole point, is that you really need to pay attention to your environment, pay attention to the vividness.
Yes.
And enjoy it. And even though you may have an overcast sky going up around you, you realize how vivid the colors are when it's overcast. There's always possibilities, right?
Right. That's exactly right. Yes.
So, well, we have a few more minutes that we can talk, or at least one more minute that we can talk. Is there anything else you want to say before I ask you for your offer?
Well, anything else I want to say?
Why don't we talk about your offer, and you can have more time for your offer.
Okay. Then. Well, okay. So I have a free PDF that people can download. It's, as you see, there's your guide to the Alice Way. And the Alice Way is my 5-step Wonderland-inspired approach to total well-being. And so this PDF just gives you a little bit of a rundown on each of the letters, A, L, I, C, and E, that make up the Alice Way. And you can also, while you're, you know, when you go there, you can also go to my website. If you're interested in being part of my play shops, if you're interested in having me present, you know, I have a concert called The Power of Pure Imagination, a concert for the child in all of us. And it's a story of resilience, my story of resilience, told through song and spoken word. And so you can feel free to get in touch with me through my website, aprillynnjames.com. Feel free to go to the events page at aprillynnjames.com/events and see where I'm going to be appearing next. But I'm happy to hear from anyone who would be interested in, in coming together and playing with me.
Okay. Now, are your workshops on the event too, or can people ask you to do a workshop for a community?
People can ask me to, yes, I'm happy to do a workshop for a community wherever you might live. I travel, these play shops travel,
Okay.
as does the concert. These are absolutely portable events that can happen near wherever someone is.
Well, that's cool. Now, your PDF is available at www.aliceway.com.
Correct.
And your website is April Lynn, without the E, it's Lynn James.com. Again, I'm sure there might be a calendar link that they can set up time with you to ask you things as well, or no?
They can simply email me and
Okay.
ask, because I don't do a calendaring system. Just email me. They can. So there's a contact form on my site. There's a contact page on my site, and you can email me through that, and I will get the form, and I respond to everyone.
Okay. Cool. Well, you've been a wonderful guest. Would you like to be a guest again?
Absolutely. This was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. I really enjoyed it. And we'll make some more creative podcasts together.
I look forward to that, Debbie.
Okay, please stick around for closing remarks.
Absolutely.
Now, remember, I do revitalize people's lives in many different areas of health and mindset. I start with correcting your gut and working with your mindset. And I do help you in different areas like brain and heart, blood sugar, as well as bone and joint, immunity, hormones. And I also help people who are athletes, get better with nutrition as well, and other things I can offer them. And pretty much what I do is I guide you to clean, toxic-free foods and high-quality essential nutrients with some of this stuff, and they will reduce symptoms. You'll feel better, possibly lose weight if that's what you need, as well as uplift your mood. Now, with my mindset coaching, I help you release your stress. As you see, I can do that too, and release emotions and emotional entanglements from the past, as well as I'm helping you guide you to reshape your core beliefs, your mindset, and the hats. Now, with my health and weight release programs, you're going to make your body more efficient. So that is the mind-body solution that makes your heart and soul sing. So ask me about my program. Set up a complimentary consultation at Debi Changes Lives. That's DebiChangesLives, as in Victory ES.com/Linktree. With LINKTREE. And there you get to know me, I get to know you, and I'll guide you to your optimal health. And it begins with 1 or 2 assessments. The health evaluation is actually complimentary, where you're going to rate your symptoms in 4 categories of health. You can go to the next slide. And some questions overlap in different categories, but answer them all. And you'll get a baseline score that I'll review with you. And when you move forward with my services, I'll create that custom natural holistic strategy, and we'll address them in the areas of mind, body, soul, and we'll look at this on a monthly basis. I also have 2 Zyto body scans, and I prefer the Zyto Visera link because I can do it remotely and internationally. I actually sent it to Australia and South Africa. The Visera link is a transdermal optical imaging app that I send a link to your phone. You scan your face for 30 seconds. It's only looking at blood flow for components of energetic, functional, emotional, and different body systems and lifestyles. That emotional one is a hidden gem. It creates a wellness report, not a diagnosis, of biomarkers out of range and products and services that bring into range. It's quite an intensive report, and I will review it with you. The cost of the scan is $75. And when you move forward with a program or product, I give you a $25 discount. Now, Visera is considered a transdermal optical imaging app, also known as TOI. You look up those terms at pubmed.gov for its accuracy. People are really amazed what their body tells them through the scan, and you be too. Curious? Either ask me questions in my consultation or take the scan and see what it's all about. Now, also on the site are my programs. Take Your Body Back is a 12-week weight release mindset coaching program where you're going to be utilizing a new version of you. All coaching is done on Zoom. And because I'm a HIPAA certified practitioner, any assessments are private. And that first meeting is private, where you're going through those assessments. I'll be giving you a choice between 2 meal plans, directions on one, and how to create that new version of you in an avatar board that'll drive you with emotion and passion to achieve your health and weight transformational goals throughout your journey. The rest of the coaching, whether it's private or coach or group, is the same. We'll be celebrating rooms, we'll be utilizing your boards, and I'll guide you over gaps with health and mindset tips. You'll become a new you. And you can either ask me questions in my consultation or watch a previous episode of Holistic Self-Love. Just be aware my coaching pricing has gone up. Why Fast is an intermittent fasting program that gets your cells and body humming and in turn boosts your metabolism with rich, dense nutrition and high-quality essential nutrients. And a program of exercise and recipes. Now, intermittent fasting actually repairs cells, reduces inflammation, and gives you mental clarity. If you think you need some coaching, I have a 2 or 4 week program to get you going, and you're welcome to purchase more coaching as you go along. You can also use a smaller program for mindset enhancement as well as health optimizations. Just remember that's a longer term journey, and it may be more economical that way, or I can create a custom program for you. For a limited time, I'm offering Debi's Coaching Chat, which is a 30-minute private consultation, intimate group setting coaching session that's not recorded. As survey would pick the topics, and I think I may be running a little bit short on time. You can look at this graphic for the topics. It could be optimize your health, releasing weight, creating a winning mindset, as well as creating a new avatar. And you can also harmonize your hormones, body balance. These meetings are at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, and you need to be registered for it at DebiChangesLives.com. That's DebiChangesLive as in victory, es.com/chat, CHTS. Finally, learn more about alternative health services, programs, offers, upcoming shows, as well as events and promos by subscribing to my newsletter, which is at DebiChangesLives.com. This time /radio TV show, all in lowercase. And I give you a gift, a 30-day health and mindset daily action journal where you can record your gratitude, thoughts, feelings, emotions, food, water, supplements, and exercising on a daily basis. You even track your measurements. And you want to review it on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to celebrate your wins, work on your gaps. And if you need help bridging your gap, contact me for coaching. This journal is a great health and mindset awareness tool. I'm certain that you are enjoying my show, that this episode was fun, and it was educational. Reach out to me for my services, programs, products, and offers, and reach out to April James for her services and offers. Do we have time for April to come back?
Okay, guess so.
Yeah, have a closing remark.
Oh, closing remark. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed everything that I was talking about today, everything we talked about. And I want people to remember that, just because people say something's impossible doesn't mean that it is. We can make possible the impossible when we believe in our dreams and hold on to them.
I certainly agree with that too, because look at me and with my transformation, I didn't know what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And you got back into music, which is where you meant to be.
Yeah.
So fantastic. Anything is possible, and we can help you with that.
Anything is possible. You just keep taking those steps towards your dreams.
Yeah. And there's a friend of mine, so he says thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, so continue to enjoy my radio and TV show on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, where your holistic journey begins.